Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take one scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you can take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go.
This episode is brought to you by BioCell RX. BioCell RX is an amazing company that makes some of the best CBD I have ever tried. I've been personally using this product for over 3 months, and it does not disappoint. I don't go anywhere without it. When traveling, it's really hard to get to sleep, especially when I'm swapping time zones and going to different places, sleeping in hotels and not in my own bed. CBD helps me get a good night rest so that I can wake up feeling refreshed, ready to coach, ready to teach, or ready to compete. Whatever it is, I take my CBD with me. My CBD is my partner in crime, my partner in travel. BioCell is one of the products that, if it's not in my backpack, I'm not leaving the house. You guys are definitely going to want to head over to biocellrx.com and pick up a bottle of your own. The cool thing about BioCell is they offer CBD at an incredibly highly concentrated formula. With over 6,000 milligrams per bottle, you can get one bottle and hold on to it for a long time. The typical dose for CBD is around 30 milligrams, so you do the math. One bottle will last you a very long time. You don't have to deal with constantly ordering new products and waiting for it to arrive and maybe running out, all of the nonsense. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and get $25 off at checkout. All right, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by HK Army. The tournament season is right around the corner, and there's a ton of teams out there who still haven't finalized their 2023 gear sponsorships. Well, look no further, PTG fam. HK Army is offering team sponsorships along with custom-designed team jerseys, pants, dry fits, gloves, and more. Get your squad in matching gear head to toe from HK Army, and be sure to let them know that PTG Podcast sent you. To get your team sponsored, simply email teams@hkarmy.com and ask for the HK Army sponsorship program. That's teams, TEAMS, @hkarmy.com to kick off the 2023 season in style with HK Army. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. PTG Nation, you guys and gals are all the best. This episode, we have none other than Zyzek Barro from Paintball Nerd. If you guys haven't heard of Paintball Nerd yet, you need to make sure and go check it out. Paintball Nerd is an awesome content creation machine. I love their Instagram, their YouTube, everything they're doing. Zyzek has a really great short form type of interview style that is really consumable and very good for the sport. So getting to have Zyzek sit down with us and be on the other end of the questionnaires was a really fun conversation. Without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, Zyzek Barro, the Paintball Nerd. We finally got him on the show. Let's go. My brother, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here.
Dude, It's great to have you, Zy. And for everybody that doesn't know, he is working with Push Paintball and spearheading Paintball Nerd. So go check out Paintball Nerd on YouTube, Instagram, follow him everywhere, doing tremendous work. And we absolutely love the content that you're pumping out, dude, because it is amazing. You get to get these, what is it, the 5, what is the 5 questions?
Fun 5.
The fun 5, yes. It's awesome, man.
Well, I mean, you guys inspired it, certainly. You know, I was watching your podcast, and I was like, I think there should be more paintball podcasts.
Send it.
And no doubt, if you guys hadn't been doing this, I don't know if the idea would have come. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Zyzek?
Well, dude, we love it.
Yeah, I love the shorter content as well because it's so digestible, you know, so it keeps people just engaged. You can turn over tons of shows. It's a great way to run the platform. So Tyler, and we say this, we need more. Let's get people just hooked on paintball content. That's a good thing for the sport as a whole. So yeah, man, absolutely love what you're doing. Got to keep it up.
Yeah, and I think paintballers have an amazing story to tell. I think especially ones that have been in it in the industry and in the leagues for a long time. You know, these stories that people have are compelling, right? We travel around the world and we play this game really for a living. So I think there needs to be more exposure to the lifestyle behind being a professional paintball player because it certainly is an appealing one, you know?
100%.
Absolutely.
Dude, so I don't know if either one of you have seen it on Netflix. Obviously, just about everybody has seen the Drive to Survive, the Formula One documentary that like really put Formula One on another level, right? Well, they just came out with Full Swing, and they
so good.
I'm only like 4 episodes in, but so good, right?
Yeah.
Where they follow oh my God, who do they follow in that? Which 2 golfers is it? Justin.
I'm not really big in the PGA circles of knowing the names, but I just know the show is amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it follows those 2 the whole time, and it's really just like about the lifestyle of a golfer, you know. And I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, this is the kind of stuff we need. I'm like so amused, and I just want to watch these players play golf now. We need something like that for paintball. We really do. You know, not just the competition. Like, there's not much competition in these documentaries. It's all about the lifestyle, the buildup, and exactly like you said, Zyzek. It's you know, paintball players, we live a very unique lifestyle. Especially professional paintball players that get to travel all over the world for it, and you know, have these experiences that I don't think many other people get to have. We could do a better job of sharing those stories. I think people would be hooked, and if you could capture it right, you know.
I think we're on the cusp of that, you know, like picture and imagine for a moment. There was a documentary on a professional paintballer's life. You know, that the type of footage that you see, the content that you'd see is, you know, you'd be able to, you know, draw influences from Anthony Bourdain and Man vs. Food and like all these different things that people are interested in, travel blogs, that combined into one thing. And on top of that, you're an athlete competing at the highest level. Dude, it sells itself, right? And
Yes.
and now that people are getting away from cable and starting to post their own content, I think, guys like you, both of you have the perfect opportunity to create that content. Like Ronnie's doing a great job of it. Harrison's doing a great job of it. If all the pro paintball players start making content like that, you're going to have a massive appeal to a wide demographic of people that this is the lifestyle that you can live if you pursue this sport.
Totally. We're going to have to talk with Esham Nelms. Help us. We got to build a crew. And, if anybody's going to do it, we got to just do it ourselves. What are we talking about? It's not just going to come knocking at our door. Let's like build it,
I mean, that's how everything starts, right? Like, someone should do this. And it's like, oh, I should do this.
Yeah.
So do it.
Well,
yeah.
To be completely honest, whoever did the Heroines documentary, and they just came out with episode 2, that is like that's the type of storytelling that we need. It does a good job of explaining the game, how it's played. It shows a little bit of the lifestyle, so that individual did a great job of capturing that and making it interesting. So yeah, we need it's fantastic to have, the personal documentation, the YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. But I'm, to appeal to the masses and maybe get something on Netflix, we need to put some money into having an actual show that, has real producers and people that really know how to tell a story and really know the right questions and things to set up. It makes a huge difference than just kind of documenting, and showing behind the scenes, which is good. I agree. And that does appeal to the masses as well. But if we could have like a very refined product to be able to get on something like Netflix eventually, that would be massive for our sport. I think that would be, talk about, we always wanted to get on TV or be on ESPN.
That's it.
Let's show that goes on Netflix like that. And I guarantee you, people will be playing paintball. People will be following professional paintball players like that. That is the ticket. If there's any way that we could do it. The one thing that I see holding us back is even watching the F1 stuff and then watching the golf stuff is you do kind of get sucked into how fancy everything is, right? You could tell that there's a lot of success and money involved. Whereas paintball, not so much. A lot of the practice fields, a lot of the footage, I don't know would be incredibly, appealing aesthetically, right? And so that's what we talk about on the show quite often is, providing a better product as a field owner, right? Making sure your park is clean, making sure that there's not trash bins everywhere and old rusty, stuff all over the place. If we can present things well in a professional manner, then it can be, filmed and we can be proud of it being filmed and shown to the masses. So I do think that there's that little bit of a disconnect, but what I do think we do that these other sports don't is the type of travel that we get to do, whether it's going over to Asia or Australia or Europe and staying with the locals, that are also, paintball players and getting to kind of live, with them. That's a different experience in itself. Some of the experiences are experiences that money actually cannot buy, no matter how much you have, right? The friendships and those experiences to me are what have always hooked me. So if we could find a way of capturing that, I think it would be super alluring.
And the genuine connection of pro players with the public. Like everywhere you go to all these different fields, the pro players are really tapped in with all the general public players and, all the way through all the divisions. And I don't know that there's another sport where there's such a connection with the pros, which I think is also a really cool selling point.
Well, I think the bigger the sport grows, the harder that connection is going to be to make. The reason that we have connections right now is because paintball is pseudo celebrity. You're not famous to the mortgage broker across the street from the paintball field. He has no idea who you are. So,
Absolutely.
That's why you can be connected with the community in paintball, because we're just not big enough yet to, be up in our high-rise hotel, separated from the rest of the community, which is awesome too. But you kind of want to see it evolve, and maybe it could get to the point where pro paintball players are looked at more as like athletes and gladiators and less attainable.
I hope that we all stay connected though. Like no matter where in the future, let's say 50 years down the road, show up, play with the locals, have fun. That should be a staple moving forward, no matter what year we end up in or what happens with paintball.
I think it will, Tyler, because how you and I talked about how paintball is a game, but it's also very much a sport, and there's a happy there's this happy intersect between the two. I think paintball at its core really is a game. And if it is a game, it appeals to a wider demographic of people because games appeal more to the wider demographic than sports do. Games are more accessible. And, this could be a biased opinion, but I feel like paintball was at its largest when it was tied. The highest level was tied closest to the game that everyone can access. In other words, capture the flag, 10 on 10. That game, capture the flag is easy. It's easier for the wider demographic to accept and play that and pursue that.
Yeah. Well, now we're capturing the buzzer, and this game is fast. You better be ready to rock.
Yeah, and the numbers don't lie. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah. I don't think kids growing up today have any idea what capture the flag is, and I don't even mean in paintball. I don't think it's a game kids play anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, I feel like kids have like evolved out of like the kind of like tag and outdoor kind of. I could be wrong. I'm totally just spitballing this
because you're an adult. You don't know. You don't know what you're doing,
dude. Tag is thriving.
You've got kids. Yeah. What do they play? Capture the flag at school? Like, is that a thing?
Dude, every type of silly game imaginable for sure. Like the tag, the hide and seek, the
tag,
and yeah, it's still rampant.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's innate within us, right, Tyler? Like you said on the show, it's like it's wired within us to do these things.
It is somewhere in our DNA. And for everybody that doesn't know, we did a show together, Zy and myself, that'll be dropping soon, I'm pretty sure, on Paintball Nerd. So be on the lookout for that one. We had a lot of fun on that show. But yeah, there is something innately in us as humans that we're just hardwired for this cat and mouse type of, fun game that we're talking about. And I don't know, where it's at in the genetic coding, but, somewhere in our past, we had to use these kind of tactics to survive. And it is coded in us, like as we play this wild paintball game. So I think innately people are always going to be drawn to this type of a style of game. And we see it. There's airsoft, there's laser tag, there's all different types of facets of this, subset of game that we play. So paintball, we just have to, like we always talk about, keep putting our best foot forward and building the best product. And then, if we can make it really appetizing to the eye and to the TV, it's got to hit the eye a certain way off of the television. Like Marcelo was stating, it's got to be done really well. And the formula is already there. Like you said, Zyzek, in the beginning with just mushing all these different platforms together in different styles. And we can create a really cool paintball story that we can sell to the people, to get more people out there playing and wanting to build teams and do that whole thing.
Yeah. And you need, it's not just got to be visually appealing, right? You need the tension, you need the drama, you need something on the line. And that just lures the viewer in. It's like, well, how much money's on the line? Like what happens if they lose this game? Is it over for them? What do they go home? Do they bleed their air tanks? That's very dramatic.
I like that. It does, man. It's appetizing. You got to make them hungry for it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't sell anything if someone's not hungry for it. You can't.
That's it.
Can't sell a cheeseburger to a full man.
Hashtag.
I thought in full swing. I thought in full swing. I think some full men you could sell a cheeseburger to, but in full swing, something they did a good job of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because it relates to paintball, but they made you feel the way they feel about Sundays. So a typical tournament in golf is like Thursday through Sunday, and Sunday's this kind of magical day where, you have to get your best on that one day. It's do or die, and that's kind of it. And we have a similar, format in paintball. Again, this is where like the professionals that know how to package, this stuff up and present it to the world is where I think we need to start investing some of our money as a collective, as a sport, because I just, we're all hooked for a reason, so we just have to be better at sharing why we're hooked. That's what people don't know. So we have to help them understand. And it has to be done in the right way. But, I'm very confident that if people knew the game and what it provides the way we do, then more people would play, more people would enjoy it, more people would care about watching and being a fan of players and teams. So I'd
So
really like to see it move in that direction.
what do you think? What do you think it would look like? Picture and imagine you have this individual with unlimited resources, and he puts together this package that you just described, and he just sets it right in front of you. And you open up this package that's paintball for the masses, paintball for everyone. What does that package look like?
So like a final production of a film or a series, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think what would be the most badass thing is you would pick say 5 of the best players that travel all around the world, not just compete in the US, but have the lifestyle. Maybe one of them that because we have some players that are in the top 5 that don't also travel internationally and do that too. So maybe one of those, but pick 5, maybe 10 at the most players, and you follow them throughout an entire season, right? And you show like what it actually looks like flying to Europe, leaving on Wednesday, arriving Thursday morning, going from the airport straight to the field to practice, being with a foreign team that speaks a different language, and those kind of hurdles, the trials and tribulations, the fun, the cultural awakening that you get from being in these positions. And then the event over there, and then flying back, and you land Monday night, and then, Tuesday, you're off somewhere else to teach a clinic, and you're now in a setting where this player that you're following is teaching and coaching and within the community. And then, you have a little bit of a background of their team, say it's Tyler. And so now Tyler is getting back and getting ready with his main team, Houston Heat. You follow them to the NXL, and you follow these players throughout the whole season, and you watch them on their own separate adventures. And then they all kind of compete against each other at the NXL events. And that would be like the main storyline is the competition at the NXL events. And then you get to the World Cup, and all the energy leads up to World Cup. And, now you have all these viewers they've chosen their favorite players because they're seeing these personalities. They're seeing what they do on the day-to-day. So now they're invested. They're like, oh, I want Tyler to win this one. That's my guy. Like, I see him with his kids. I see him with his wife. I see how hard he's working, here, there, everywhere. Right. That's who I'm going for. You make them invested in the player, and then they, by nature, are invested in the team, and they're excited to see who's going to win the World Cup, the World Championship, like where everything's on the line. To me, that's what it would look like. You would showcase the different personalities and how everyone kind of, the top players make different ends meet to do this full time and at the highest level. And you just show exactly that. You just show what is already there. You're not making anything up.
Boom.
It's over. You did it. You're 3/4 of the way there. You have the vision. You know exactly what the package looks like. You know who you're going to film. Now someone needs to make it, right? The hard part's done. The hard part's done.
Need the funding. Yeah.
No, I mean, I could see that on Netflix. Like I could see that being something that,
yeah, absolutely,
that takes off. And that's really, like you said, March, that's the platform right now. People are ditching the expensive TV packages, and they're going with Netflix and the Disney and the Hulu, and and they're doing that route. So I think
here's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Is the answer give it away for free? When you're trying to get someone hooked on something, it's the business model been proven between illegal and legal businesses that if you give it away for free, it's something of value, people will tend to take it and then want to pay for it later. So maybe we have it backwards. Maybe we're charging, and you need to have Netflix, and you need to have this or that and Apple TV to get certain content, or you need to subscribe to get the paintball content. What if the content was just available to you, and grandma can watch it without putting down her debit card or anything like that, and more people could watch it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely different ways to think about it, and we got to make sure that we take care of Go Sports and the NXL, and that is continuing to do well. And I know that they need
best
help.
We got.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best we've ever had.
Truly, yes. And so we've definitely kicked around some ideas of different ways that we can navigate, those avenues. But just being able to, like you said, have the vision and be able to try to navigate it and put out, once again, the best product that we possibly can for the viewer, so that we can keep people interested in top level pro paintball and paintball as a whole as it moves into the future. Yeah. And Zy, I gotta say, dude, thank you thank you for all your love with PTG and the kind words that you said in the beginning of the show too, because it's people like you as well that we need everyone to chip in. We need all of it. We need everything we can get to make this thing go where we need it to go.
Yeah, I love this, dude. I love your guys' show. It's
right back at you.
Where else can you get like two goats like doing a podcast? You know, it's amazing.
Let's go.
I can name one other show, but
yeah, and
it's going on right now, right? The Spick and Span show is happening now.
They did just have two goats on there. That's right. I was over there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to all of it.
Yeah, but it's not just them. There's a lot of paintball content right now. You love seeing like a lot of the videographers popping up, starting podcasts, right? Carl Markowski really was the first like pro player that started to do podcasting, you know, and he has a very successful show, very great show. Matty Marshall was like the first actual podcast over 10 years ago, the Real Deal podcast that he used to do. You know, and he really is the one that kind of planted the seed in my mind a long time ago about doing some sort of media thing one day like that. But the more the better, you know, that's all I can say. The more the better. And maybe this is the free version that people get of paintball. And you know, I still love Archie's idea about Go Sports, and it was have every game behind the paywall except for the finals. The finals is free.
Genius.
I really think it is, dude, because, you know, at first when he said that, I was like, wait, what? That makes no sense. That's the most important game. But then I was like, wait a second. It makes perfect sense, because all your like diehard fans that are paying right now, they're still going to pay for that. They're going to want to watch the whole weekend. But the ones that are maybe on the fence, or maybe the ones that don't even know paintball, show them like the biggest, most badass game for free, you know. And who knows what those numbers can turn into. I think it would be a fantastic way to go. And, you know, obviously, you know, you stream it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever all the different platforms are. And I don't know. I think that could be an amazing route to go.
We don't even have to commit to it. We can just try it once, you know?
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally right. Because it's very important to be able to support Go Sports, you know, so that they can continue to do what they do and continue to make the show better. But at the same time, we got to, on the other side, try to figure out how to get more eyes involved, you know, and behind a paywall, when somebody, you know, Maddie always says it verbatim. Nobody wakes up in the morning and just decides to give a shit about what you're doing. You have to make them. So for the people that don't know paintball, why the hell are they going to pay to watch paintball if they don't know paintball? You know, so
or someone in it,
or someone in it, right? So let's give them a reason. Maybe I don't even know if I directly had that conversation with Maddie. I think I brought it up to him, and again, all credit to Archie on that one. But I think it. Yeah, why not? Let's try it. But Zyzek, let's dive in a little bit about you, who you are, your history in paintball, longtime OG, you know, pro player. How'd you get started in the game?
Like most people, you know, I started at a birthday party in 8th grade, and that's the first time I ever played paintball. And my buddy had a birthday. We went out and played, and I was addicted ever since. But actually, I was addicted before that. I was in 5th grade, and kids, older kids came back from like this, you know, event, and they had welts on. I'm like, what is this? And I learned about paintball then. So from 5th grade to 8th grade, I just like, you know, bought every magazine I could see, watched every paintball thing I could see until I finally got that opportunity to play in 8th grade.
No way. So you were studying it for like a few years.
Obsessed with it, bro. Like I was totally obsessed with it. You know, I just couldn't play. I didn't have the opportunity.
Why not? If you don't mind me asking, that's a long time to not be able to
it was financial. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it was getting to the field. It was getting the equipment, you know, like I come from humble means, and going to a buddy's birthday party made it affordable. Sure. I don't even know if I paid for anything, actually. It was like, you know, come to my birthday and you get to play paintball.
You were over the moon when you heard that. You said, what?
Over the moon. Yeah. Immediately after that, I'm like, let me figure out, let me get some chores, right? Let me mow some people's lawns. Let me paint some fences. Like, let me figure out let me find a way to play this game every weekend. Not with your paintball gun, no.
Not with the paintball gun.
Because I didn't have one yet. Yeah.
Dude,
So,
that's
wow.
really cool. Talk to us about the paintball magazines and like the early videos. What were some of those that you really appreciated before you were able to play?
So my first paintball magazine ever was APG, Action Pursuit Games.
Yep.
And I still have it. It's upstairs in my closet. I still have like the first APG that I ever bought.
It's a relic.
It's a relic. Yeah. I have a few paintball magazines that I'm in that I've saved. And, but it was so cool because, you know, as a kid, you're walking through the grocery store, you know, and you see the magazine section, and then you see these people with markers and goggles, and it's like they're wearing camouflage, and you're like, what is this? Like, I like to play guns, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're flipping through this magazine. And it's like, it's just amazing. Like, to see, it was amazing back in the day having magazines. Like,
I agree.
You know, there's just something tangible. We have something tangible now. We just thumb through. But, you know, back in those days, you got a magazine and you read the whole thing until like the new magazine came out. You know, these days we just like, we like a reel. We're watching the first 3 seconds of it and we're already scrolling. Like, we didn't listen to it, you know, watch it, nothing. We just like scroll. Mm-hmm. Content consumption.
I watch. I watch the whole thing.
But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't.
Hey, this is a valuable life lesson for anybody who has any bit of a platform. And I've made this mistake. Do not like something unless you have seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
Because you are at risk for liking something that, who knows, at the end could have some crazy racial slur or something incredibly inappropriate or something that you just don't agree with, you know? And so it's important to be, you know, do your due diligence, I guess, in the things that you are publicly essentially endorsing. A like on social media is kind of an endorsement, you know? That's the way it's looked at least. So you got to be careful. You definitely have to be careful with what you do and do not like out there.
Wise words. I'm gonna check myself, because I find myself like, you know, I just assume everyone that I'm following is going to be something enjoyable, even though I don't have the time to watch it all. I'm gonna give the time to tap my thumb at least, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so, I love what you said. Go ahead, March.
Go ahead, Ty.
Take the floor, my brother.
Let's all go.
I've got all right, on 3. 1, 2.
So I was gonna say.
Okay, seriously though, Ty, hold on to your thought. All right.
I know it was a joke.
We have you know, shout out to Big Derek Weagle. He's the man. He's one of the goats in the Discord. But he sends videos on Instagram. Like, a lot of them are hilarious. Some of them are wildly inappropriate, you know, but it's like nonstop. It sends them. And so I would find myself, sometimes it's just impossible to keep up, but I also don't want to ignore him, you know, because he's like putting in effort, making sure that I get a good laugh. And, you know, he's sending out tons of stuff. And I found like some of the stuff that I was like liking or ha-haing, I didn't watch all the way through. And then I watched and I was like, ooh, no. Oh no. Okay. I got to watch myself on here. But it's honestly so true, because people see the things that you like and comment on, and, you know, so you want to be thoughtful. And really that just comes down to kind of treating it like real life, and people don't treat social media like real life, which is actually the problem. You know, people are so like, it's easy
or
to
maybe they maybe they are. Maybe that is how they treat real life too, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Could be full circle.
Well, here's the thing. Marcel is right. Like, I definitely like when Damien posts something like political, or like LP, or like you know, who else posts political stuff? Anyway, I'm not going to name a bunch of people posting political stuff, but I'm careful what I like, because now I'm going to get a bunch of like, you know, I'll get the algorithm will know like, oh, you just like this thing about this very sensitive topic. And it's like, you're right. You know, maybe I don't necessarily, as Paintball Nerd of business, I don't want to necessarily broadcast that I support this side or that side. And maybe
you got to be thoughtful, you know, you got to be thoughtful, and no fake liking out there. You know what I mean? If you like something, like that thing, put the heart on it. Put the vouch on that thing, and
reshare,
repost
with the link to watch.
Hell yeah! I love what you said about the. Oh, here we go. Take the floor. Nope. What do we got?
I'm done. It's all you.
I was just gonna say about Zy's the magazines contextually, like holding a magazine, reading it, seeing the picture, flipping the page. There's
Smell it.
something, yeah, man. There's something about that experience that will, I don't know. I hope we can duplicate it someday, but it is not duplicatable at the moment.
I don't think
There
dude,
was
it's
some
irrelevant.
magazines
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you like same with books. Like, you know, I got a shelf of books over here, but I also have a little tablet right above the books that holds all the books. So it's like, you know, we talk about paintball magazines, and there's this, you know, nostalgic feel to it, and you know, we think on it fondly. But I think kids today, if you give them a magazine's like, all right, where's the PDF, bro? Like, you know, let me thumb through it. Let me search this PDF for key phrases that I like. You know, so we're in a different age.
Totally.
Doesn't mean it's the right age. I think technology just kind of advanced a little too fast for us to get our grips on it. I would love to see
growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't read a book on a Kindle. Can't do it. Refuse to do it. Won't do it. Won't even try. You know, it's just really difficult to read on a screen. You know, which is ironic because my book was only in ebook form for the first like year or two that it was out. You know, do you have an
audiobook of your book?
No, so many people have asked me to do an audiobook, and I'm like, that's where I kind of draw the line, because I really want the information to be read. I feel like it needs to be absorbed that way. I feel like there's different mediums and platforms where I do teaching, and you can hear the audio, you know, through that. But the book, so many people have asked, and it's a bad business decision for sure for me not to have an audio version of it.
What if Morgan Freeman did the audio for your book?
I would absolutely allow that to happen.
That'd be hard.
Yeah, Maddie,
for sure, that'd be
Maddie's the Morgan Freeman of the paintball industry. We got to get Maddie to read it.
It truly is. It truly is.
Put some dramatic pauses up in there. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, reading, you absorb the information in a different way. I learn best when I read. I know everybody's not the same. I know everybody's not like me, but for me, that's my creation, and that's how I wanted it to be received.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. It's great. I love it.
Thank you.
It is truly. Yeah. And so after you got your magazine fix, you went to the birthday party. How did the birthday party go? And then how did like the tournament aspect of paintball become awakened for you?
Okay. So you youngsters might not remember this thing called AOL Instant Messenger.
I remember AOL.
AIM, baby.
Yeah.
So I was on a paintball chat room on AIM, because they had different chat rooms for different things. And I was in paintball one because I'm a paintball nerd. And there's this dude, Pete Hollenhorst. He played for the Sitting Ducks. And he's saying that there's going to be tryouts at this field called Camp Pendleton, which was like, you know, an hour away from me. And I was like, holy cow, like there's paintball teams and you can try out for them. And they play tournaments. So I tried out for the Sitting Ducks, and I made the rookie squad. And that's where I got kind of plugged in with, you know, Gator and Rusty and Mini Mike.
Damn.
And Whisper. And
what
Mini
a
Mike
crew.
and I played rookie together. Yeah.
Oh man.
So we were on the Sitting Ducks, and then I was on the Young Gun squad, and I got on the rookie squad. And I mean, I could make the story longer. I could make it real short, but you know, from the Sitting Ducks, I went to Menace.
Oh, I want to know more about the Ducks, because that team is legendary. That squad that you just named off. First of all, Gator Glaze is arguably the most stylistic paintball trendy player ever to play the game. Like what he did stylistically for paintball changed so much. I mean, it opened the eyes up of your favorite paintball creatives with clothing, you know, and then you have Rusty, you got Whip. Are you kidding me? Moose, baby Moose on the line. That's a lineup, you know, and we gotta talk about that for a second, how that went.
Well, I mean, it was awesome, dude. This is my paintball childhood. So Rusty and Gator had moved to Check It Factory, or the Heavy Hitters, when I got on the Sitting Ducks. But we would still all go to Rusty's house Friday night and stay there over the weekend to play at Camp Pendleton or SC Village. So, you know, we would talk shit on Smack Talk Paintball and the GOG forum at Rusty's house. and we move the couch cushions around and play imaginary paintball in the living room. And then his mom would make us eggs in the morning, and then we'd go off and play paintball and come back and repeat the same thing Saturday night. So, and I did that for many years. So
Nice.
You know what's so weird? I don't know if that's a thing that kids do anymore, is play imaginary paintball. Like the young players, I don't. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm also, again, speaking out of turn. I don't know. But I know back in the day, like our we all played imaginary paintball. Like we all have stories of moving the couch cushions around or putting the boxes up in the living room, and just running around and pretending to play.
It's guns. It's playing guns,
Yes.
Playing imaginary paintball is playing guns with paintball guns.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how we refed it, but we did manage. Like there was clear, like, you are eliminated. I got you. Like we managed to do that somehow.
Sure.
And I did this sweet, I was at their house once, and we had like this makeshift snake out of couch cushions, and I dove over it and bunkered Whisper or someone.
Get him out.
And it was hard, dude. And then after, like, we like went back to our starting stations on each side of the house, and I heard Whisper like, "He's good at imaginary paintball." I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm good at imaginary paintball, baby."
Let him know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like flexing in the start station, dude, next to the couch.
Those are timeless stories.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And even into like a little bit older, like when I could drive and, come up to Orange County and stay with the HK guys. And I started doing that after the Sitting Ducks. I built a relationship with those guys. And I remember Alex Cadelso's huge house, and we play imaginary paintball there. And we were all old enough to drive. So we were just like still a bunch of nerds. Like running around.
Enjoy it. Live it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So where was I going with all this? I don't like.
Well, we're on the journey. We're on the Zy journey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we're painting the picture of how you became one of the biggest paintball nerds in the room.
Yeah, probably the biggest. I think it's the nerdiness. That's what I have to attribute my fame to, of being around people that being around the right people at the right time. My paintball career is nothing illustrious whatsoever. I played pro for a short amount of time. Well, let me just share this with you. I played pro for a lesser amount of time than most people have been on pro teams. Like they've had longer careers with different teams. My pro career was about 4 years. Now, why do people know my name? I think because I was around the right people at the right time in an impactful part of paintball. But I don't necessarily think that I did anything great in the sport, or I was this amazing player. I think I just was surrounded around the right people and made the right relationships.
No way, dude. You made it onto the Ironmen when the Ironmen were one of the top teams in the world, and that would be like making it, let's say Connor Kelly. That's like what Connor Kelly did. He's on Heat, That's like Chris Shear. He just made Dynasty. That's making a move into a legendary organization, and you accomplished that. And there's not many players that can say they've done that. So I do got to push back on that. And you made a statement, on the episode that we did as well. You put people on notice. You let people know you're coming for everything. You're there to play ball. And I remember watching the Ironman. I remember watching you and the organization, and you definitely were no slouch. You know what I mean? You were there to play some ball. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, funny thing about the Ironman is the first pro paintball player I ever saw was Davey Williamson. And I saw him at Borderland. Marcelo, you remember Borderland?
100%. That's where I started playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's where I first met you. And when it closed down, of course, we started going to Velocity. But the first time I ever saw an Ironman, a pro player, was at Borderland. It was Davey Williamson. It was on the new spool field, which was next to the mound field. And I don't know why he was playing walk-ons. I never really figured that out. I think he was just getting his reps in. But he was like, totally. I mean, he was shooting everyone, but he was nice about it. Like one ball, like, pow, you're gone. And I'm like, dude, this guy's like literal walk-ons. And he was a gentleman, right? Some guy like came to the snake, didn't know Davey was in there, And instead of Davey like popping out and trading with him close range, while the guy was running to the snake, Davey crawled back to the back part of the snake and came out and shot him. So there was more distance. Very, classy stuff. So anyway, I saw Davey, and I'd been watching Game On, which is a paintball movie by JT, and he was in it. And I was like, dude, are you Davey Williamson? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, whoa, like, how do I be what you are? How do I do what you do? And he's like, I don't think you want to do that, kid. I think you want to go to college and make a lot of money and go that route. I'm like, no, I don't.
Like
I want to play I want to play pro paintball like you. He's like, well, you need to get a job too. You can't just live off being a pro paintball player. And I'm like, well, what do you do for work? And he goes, I sell these. And he held up his boomstick barrel. I'm like, I work at Dye and I sell these. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work at Dye. I'm going to play for the Ironmen. And I spoke it into existence. So out of high school, I hit up Dye for a job.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask, is how old you were when you had that interaction with Davey, because I have a very similar story with Davey. He was one of the first pros that I met. And same thing is I found out he worked at Dye. He's actually the one who took me and my dad to Dye for the very first time. Gave us a tour of the factory, introduced us to Dave, like basically set my career. And that was where I decided, okay, play pro paintball and also work at Dye. That was like my goal when I was, 12 years old.
He laid the path. It had to be 98, I think. It gets blurry after 20 years. It's like,
wow. Yeah,
it's hard to remember. I mean, Ironmen were shooting Angels. So yeah, I think 98.
Dang, that's crazy.
We're in JT goggles. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like there wasn't even a Dye goggle yet.
You knew. You already knew,
I knew, like I saw that it was attainable because this dude is standing right here in front of me. He's like, Dye's over here in Scripps, or at the time is Arjohn's. Like Dye's right over here. And, I live in San Diego. And I was like, dude, this is possible. Like I can do this. And so, I was already obsessed with paintball. So I just started to figure out every possible way that I could put myself in a position to have the exact same lifestyle. So,
and you asked a good question too. Like that's half the battle, is asking good questions. You asked the important questions. How do I do this? What can I do? How can I position myself? And you got good answers, which gave you good results. It's like, it's not just going to come out of nowhere. You've got to cook this thing up. You have to set it in motion. Like you've said countless times, you spoke it into existence. You held it in your mind's eye and you focused on it. And that is how you were able to manifest those realities. There's no other way to do it. It's pretty cut and dry, but it seems like we're our own worst enemy. We always get in the way of ourselves. And if we can just kind of like wake up and snap our fingers and just realize how important and powerful we all are, you can make anything happen. You can truly create your wildest dreams. You want to be the next Walt Disney, then do it. You want to be the next Elon Musk, then do it. What are you going to do? You got to set it in action. You got to speak it into reality.
There's no other fact proven time and time again that's true. Like, look at every successful person. What do they do first? They pronounce with their mouth what their intentions are. It makes it real. It's no longer just a thought going on in your head. You're speaking this. These are my intentions. You're putting that out into the universe, let's call it. But something much more important happens when you speak something. It becomes an intention. Now it goes against your fiber of your being to go against the words that you spoke. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so powerful to say, I'm going to do this rather than I should do this. Right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that little nuance can change your life. That little nuance.
Well, you guys are evidence of this. You guys know this. You practice this every day. Like you guys are living this out. I think that this philosophy could be better adopted. Like I don't know. For some reason, all people don't see it or all people don't believe it. But I mean, if you actually put it into practice, you write down goals, you say things, and you actually take measurable steps towards these goals, like everything is accomplishable, right?
Yeah, and you hit it on the head with the intention because you can write something down and read it and act like your intentions are a certain way, but you can't lie to yourself either. You know, you got to be just 100% with yourself, and you have to believe those intentions. You have to have that intention set and then walk that path. And like we said, like, hold it in your mind and obsess over it, go crazy over it, and fall in love with it, and, you know every intricate detail about it. And then you become a part of this really amazing creative process. And that it's way more difficult to do than we're just talking about here. But if you really love something, then the intention is going to naturally be set, and you'll be able to be on that path. But it's
called the bar system. Have you guys seen this? The bar system that I've done.
Yeah.
So, you know, it starts off with belief, right?
Yeah.
So hold on.
Let's get it.
Let's
pull out the bar system.
Let's get real here. You know,
let's go. He's
Let's
got the
official.
whiteboard.
So, you know, the bar system starts off with what you believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, this circle around the belief system represents the size of your belief. And that circle is important because that belief has a direct impact on the action that you take. Okay. The action will be in direct proportion to your belief. If you believe a lot, the action's going to be a lot. If you believe a little, the actions are going to suck. Right. So for the purposes of this example, we're going to say that our belief system is strong. It's this strong. Our action is this strong. And our actions have a direct impact on the result that we achieve. Right. So everything's in proportion. I believe a certain way. I take a certain amount of action, and that renders me a certain result. But what happens here is the result that you achieve, the lifestyle that you guys are living, the result reinforces your belief system. It gets greater. So you say, aha, I believed it. I did it. I got the result. And now I believe even stronger. So what am I going to do?
More action.
What's going to happen to my action? Greater action. What's going to happen to my result? What's going to happen to my result? What's going to happen to my belief system?
Big belief.
Right?
Big action.
Dude. And what if, what if we go the opposite direction? What if we just believe a tiny bit? What's happening to our action?
A little bit of action.
A little bit of action. What kind of results do we get from a little bit of action?
You get a little result, just tiny
little results, and then our belief system goes, "See, I told you it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
told you." Bar
Dude,
system,
raise the
baby.
bar.
Start with your belief. Start with your belief system. That'll shape your actions. Your actions will determine your results, and you'll live the lifestyle that you want to live.
Boom. Raise the bar, and you actually hit it right on the head when you said that people don't believe in the nuance in word shift. They don't even, like, it's not even a realm of possibility in the thoughts that they're processing of, oh, damn, I said might instead of will, or I said, those little nuances, they subconsciously set the intention in a particular wavelength that would be otherwise changed if you just put the word I will. It sets a different intention.
And it starts with the belief system, because words are actions, right? Mm-hmm. They're actionable things. Saying something is an action. And what we say, it really reflects what we believe. So
love it, dude.
There it is.
Yeah. Raise the bar. Make a shirt. Let's go.
Is that your creation there, Zyzek?
Yeah, the bar system is, but it's influence from all these books that I've read.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. I don't take credit for anything. This is simply my observation from people that I've idolized and followed and tried to mimic. So
but you packaged that.
I packaged that. Yeah.
Your creation, dude. Don't say it's not your creation. That's your creation.
It's amazing.
It was inspired.
I can't
by,
take credit.
By some other
it was inspired. Right. Yeah.
You better take credit. The bar system
of course.
Because
how do you
appreciate that?
Take credit, not you should take credit. You will.
There we go.
Credit.
Yeah. God, I hope Tony Robbins or someone doesn't have that copy written somewhere, and I just, gonna get a letter from a lawyer or something.
Oh,
dude,
no. You can take us down.
So, how do you think that Michelangelo or Da Vinci or any great artist became great? They packaged and they were inspired by others, and they took all these kernels of thought from other people and they put their own spin on it, and they became who they were through doing that kind of packaging, and that is really one of the most cool things ever, is that we have such an array of eclectic information that we can pull from in today's modern day and age, more so, I mean, quite possibly than any time we know of. I know that there might be times that we don't know of, and I don't know what was going on then, but right now we're at this level of consciousness and awareness that we haven't seen in a very long time, and it's because of people like you creating very interesting systems like the bar system, and all of us coming together and just getting really creative and sharing our thoughts.
Yeah, I think that every artist, every creator is really a reflection of all the things that they've consumed to inspire them. It's a version of that. So it's I think there are original ideas here and there, but they still are derived from some sort of inspiration. They have to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then, so you went from rookie paintball. Did you play novice? Because for everybody that doesn't know, back in the day, it was rookie, novice, amateur, pro. That was it.
Amateur A, amateur B. There was two
Yep.
of those.
Yeah,
that's true. But it was definitely a different ball game. So how did you traverse playing the circuit and then make your way into the pro circuit?
So I played novice with a team called Menace, which was some HK guys, and played the Pan Am series with them. From there, and that was that was 10 and 5 man. It was limited to 200 rounds a player for 5 man, 500 rounds if you're playing 10 man. So I was doing that, and then I got connected with the Bushwhackers, which were big out in Southern California.
Oh yeah.
And I tried out for the Bushwhackers and I didn't make it. Like I got cut on the last day. He's like, "Oh, I can't take you to whatever event it was." And I was like, "Oh, that's it was devastating." But it worked out because through that I met Gary Shows, and Gary Shows was forming this brand new team called Legacy, and they were going to play amateur B. And so I met Gary and Ryan Shows and Nick Shows and Ryan Martin and a couple of guys from a team called Flashpoint, which is a local team. It was Nick Leatherwood and LJ, Justin Schwartz, and Damien. I played a couple tournaments with Flashpoint as well, novice. So then we joined Legacy, and something didn't work out in Legacy. I didn't quite remember. Everyone ended up leaving. All the Flashpoint guys, we ended up leaving, and then they all decided to go back after they left. And when we all left, I got an opportunity to play with the Spiders Web Kids, which was Alex Hong and Steven Pitts and Sean Pitts and Chris Iquinta,
legend,
and this guy named Boomer. So I started playing events with those guys, and I didn't go back to Legacy. I stayed with the Spiders Web Kids, and we formed a team called Platinum, and we whooped everyone's ass in amateur as Platinum. It was awesome. And then that's how I got picked up on Ironmen. I was at World Cup 2000, I think, and no, it had to be 2002.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Doesn't matter. And the Ironman saw me play with Platinum, and I got an opportunity to try out from something I did. I don't even remember what it was, but Billy Wing came up to me and was like, "You played that really tight, and you made some good decisions. And how'd you like to try out?" And I was like, "What? Yes, like absolutely." Playing amateur at World Cup, that was my last time I played amateur. I after World Cup, I tried out for the Ironman, and made it, and then the rest is history. Well, I guess Amazing. It's not.
Well, yeah, it is definitely. It is now. It's databased here on PTG. What format were you playing when you got picked up to play for the Ironman?
So they were playing 10-man, and they're making the switch to X-Ball.
Yes, that's right.
So we practiced a little bit at 10-man, but the first time I played competitively with Ironman was X-Ball. And I think it was a Mardi Gras event. It was first time X-Ball was played.
Oh, it was the rained out Mardi Gras event. Was that?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Had to be that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, so I started playing X-Ball and it was full auto, uncapped. You know, guns shoot as fast as you want them to shoot. And people were getting destroyed. It was great. It was great.
Tell me about it. I was like 13 or 14 at that time, and I had just gone pro at like this same time, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" It was
Dude,
wild.
You could see like when people are shooting lanes off the break, you could see like a rope of paintballs. Like you could dive under it or over it because you could see like that stream, like it's visible. Like that's how fast the guns were shooting. And dude, if like someone with an itchy trigger finger came and bunkered you, it was not fun. Like getting bunkered by Chris Lasoya, you're gonna get extra in mechanical. But if he's got a full auto gun, uncapped, like you're gonna wear it, dude.
Yeah, you're getting Zyzek. How do you feel about that? Do you think that 10.5 balls per second is the way to go, or do you think uncapped the way it used to be, or somewhere in the middle? Do you have a preference on our regulations on how the guns shoot?
I think that there should be full auto uncapped, like just, maximum, like what is the maximum output of this device that I have? And if we're going to compete at the highest level, I might as well have a device that has the maximum output. So I would like to see it go back to that. And there may need to be some changes to the format and the field for it to work. But I think putting a limitation on it, I don't know. That's a tough one because I get why there's that limitation is there.
I can't imagine some of these fields. One, I can't imagine
you can't do it the way it is now.
Fields. Yeah, I can't imagine like those fields back then. If we played on those fields now, even at 10 balls a second,
there were less bunkers.
I know, it's crazy. I don't know how anybody ever made it to a damn corner. But I don't know if my personal perspective is that full auto is the answer, but I do like uncapped semi-automatic. I think that it should be a skill that is rewarded to be able to shoot your gun fast. And so if we could find a way to monitor cheater boards and bounce and all that, and you actually can shoot 15, 17 balls a second by walking the trigger, you should be rewarded on that. What I cannot
here's how you do it.
Okay. You
know
ready?
How? I know how to do it.
Okay.
You eliminate the board. Okay. Because the board can be hacked. You can program the board to seem like it's semi-automatic, and then sometime during the game you pull the trigger a certain amount of times and boom, you have full auto. It's easy to cheat.
Go all mechanical.
If you go up mechanical, put double triggers in the mechanical guns so you can walk the trigger, but shooting fast is still a skill set.
Yeah, but can you ever really get that fast?
Oh yeah. These new ones are.
These
new ones are. I've seen at these 10-man events. I'm like, are they shooting? What are they shooting? Because it sounds.
I can shoot faster than 10.5 on a mechanical gun.
But you would still have to have the technology to read the paint. We need the eyes. We need all the timers. All that kind of stuff.
Dude, guns are so good. They're so soft on paint these days, and the loaders feed so fast. Doesn't matter. I never chop paint. Never chop paint in a mechanical. Not once.
Not once. Oh,
not
come
once.
on.
I've never chopped a paintball. I've never outshot in mechanical.
What gun are you using?
M170, Planet Eclipse.
But those still have eyes, don't they?
No, they're totally mechanical. There's no board in it.
Whoa, that's crazy. Wow.
I thought those, just don't have the micro switch, but they still had the eyes. Interesting.
Well, you have there is an M170 that you can it's not the M170. It's just called the 170R, and it has a eyes and an electronic grip frame. But the M170 is just a single trigger mechanical.
Got it. Okay, single trigger. But
yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, I think that it should be a skill that should be rewarded. If you can shoot fast, so however we can figure that out, if it's mechanical, cool. As long as you can get to a decent speed, I think that we have the technology to be able to make sure all the boards are connected to something up in the NXL tower. I think it would help with stats as well. Like, hey, Tyler Harmon shot, 1,000 rounds in that.
I like that.
I do like the electronic side, because I think there's like stuff, and I think you could regulate, like, hey, the trigger was pulled once and two shots came out. There's got to be the tech for that by now. But what I was saying is, what I can't stand, like, it irks me so much, is when you have a perfect lane, but simply because you're limited to the 10.5 balls per second, that means there's a certain amount of space in between each paintball, and it's pretty significant. A player can just run through it. So it brings a little bit of luck into off the break shooting and holding zones, and making spots. And to me, in professional sports, anytime you could remove luck and add skill, you should try to do that, especially when you're trying to create separation. Like all of us, we used to grow up, we used to just sit in the house and walk the trigger, just, get good at like walking the
Watch
trigger.
TV. Yeah.
100%. That was a thing. It was a skill. I can shoot super fast with both hands, right and left. So it's like, some of these kids now, I don't think they would know how to shoot a paintball gun if it was on semi-automatic. It'd be like,
That's wild.
They all have to do is maintain 5 balls a second or whatever it is, and the gun will do the rest.
Yeah, totally.
And try holding a lane, if you don't have that, but where it gets into that rhythm and you have to try and hold the lane, you're going to really have to, like you said, be spending some quality time with your marker. We always tell people that, like, at the fields, and they think it's a funny, like, a joke or something. I'm like, no, I love this. This is my marker, and I have built a relationship with this marker. You got to, have the tank set up, have your gun there, because it really is a skill set that is important. And I think that if we can, like Marcella said, give the game more skill, that's not a bad thing. I would like to see if it did. I still want the technology to be involved. Like the timer, the eyes, I think I would really appreciate, even though Zyzek has never in the history ever chopped a paintball.
Barrel breaks are different.
This is true. That is impressive. That is impressive.
No.
And then what it would do also is, like March said, you could tie it into the program to where it can have at least, the shot count on there, and kind of get some details on the players. I think that would be a cool little accentuation that you could add to players and see the different shot counts, and even it could track how long they're on the field. You could have a system that like shows when they go off and on. Little things like that could be really cool as we move into the future. And it's like technologically not a huge leap. It's not something that's like, going to break the bank really. Obviously it would be an expenditure, but if as we grow into the future in the next 5 to 10 years can add that, I think it would be really cool for a viewer to see that kind of details as well.
Yeah, all the manufacturers that make paintball markers and boards for them just need to be on the same page with, this is the direction we're going. We're making it so you can't hack it and add extra shots, like stock car racing.
Well, if it was mechanical, there wouldn't be any way to add extra shots, right?
Exactly, Tyler. See, that's my point. That's right.
You're chopping without the eyes.
When's the last time any of you chopped a paintball or shot a gun that could chop a paintball?
Bro.
Of course doesn't break paint, so I don't know.
Yeah, get out of here. See, this is propaganda, man. This is propaganda.
Of course doesn't break paint. Yeah.
Okay, you can shoot the brittlest paint, right?
Both
with a force, right?
100.
You can shoot the most brittle paint. Yeah,
okay.
I believe that's accurate.
And if you take off the eyes, if you turn off the eyes, I think the chances of you breaking a paintball are still pretty minimal, right?
I don't know that I agree with that. I think that I have had issues. Anytime there's issues with eyes, that's why the eye, like when the eyes.
Hold on, wait, what happened?
When eyes go into default on just about any gun, it doesn't shoot the same speed.
That's programming.
This is true.
Yep, 100%. But why do you think it's programmed that way? Because if you still try to shoot at 10 balls a second, you're chopping paint.
Every loader can feed 10.5. You don't have to worry about it. Experiment. We should experiment.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's get to the bottom of this.
But you have to have tournament grade paint. You can't just have practice paint because it's a totally different game, right? When you have tournament grade paint that is incredibly brittle, that's the stuff that you should be testing. That's the only way that it's a fair assessment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Correct. And in your testing, I'm sure that you have broken some paint while you're testing and chopped a couple balls.
Never.
Yeah. See,
He
this
doesn't
is
even
good.
own a squeegee.
Y'all,
Doesn't even
y'all
know
are
what they look
wild.
like.
I only have one for looks. It's an old school straight shot that I never have to use.
Listen,
I carry
people-
one in case one of my teammates needs it. Like, hey, like.
Yeah, exactly. I carry two for anyone at the field that's shooting something other than a force. And
yeah, it's so
GI.
kind, man. You guys are just something. So kind. Love it.
Everybody will experience breaking paint in paintball. That is just the bottom line. It is what it is.
Straight
You know,
up.
this is actually an important talking point. I was having this conversation with our team down in Mexico. We just got back from the MXL, and we had paint. We had some issues with paint where there would be like a pancake ball in some of and so you feel like your gun's jammed or you don't know what's going on, and players do not know how to assess what is going wrong with their gun quick enough. It probably happened to me throughout the weekend. I want to say 6 times. And all 6 times, one of the times it was literally in the very last point of the tournament where we were up 3-2 and there was a minute 18 on the clock. And it happened when we were trying to hold the other team from attacking, right? So literally the worst time that it could happen. The guy like gets down into the Dorito 3, is rapping on me, and it happens. All 6 times I was able to take the loader off, find that flat paintball, get it out of there, and get my loader and everything back on and back working in like 6 or 7 seconds.
NASCAR.
Where I would watch 100%. But this is a very important thing. Like players, their gun will stop working and they'll look at it. They'll like try to turn it off. They'll try to
hit it
on. They'll hit
you
it.
Gotta
a
hit
bit,
it.
and it'll take them. They're out of the game for a minute at best. Sometimes they don't ever get it up, and they're out for the whole point. And then you're like, all you had to do was take your loader off and get that paintball, the bad paintball, or maybe there's a piece of dirt or a rock or something that got in there. But being able to assess your stuff in the game is an important part of paintball. You have to be able to do that. So everyone out there listening, if you are playing and all of a sudden your gun stops shooting, first thing you should do is take your loader off your gun and just make sure there's not a fat ball, because it happens. Sometimes there's just a fat ball in the bags. Make sure that's not it, and then try to assess everything else, because most likely that's what it is.
Or
that's
just
part of being a professional at your craft is knowing your equipment, right? Like, yeah, or you could just hit it, right? Like that's what you're gonna end up doing if you don't know what to do.
That's what I see so many players do that. I'm like, what are you doing? You're hitting it.
Yeah, I like when people like put their hand over the light on their loader to see if it's on, like this. Yeah. They're looking like, is it on? Like, dude, push the button. Replace your batteries.
Yeah, for sure.
It's comedy. It's comedy hour sometimes out on the paintball field. But Marcelo's absolutely right. You have to have already thought about how you're going to process those moments, because they're going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, like just like a photographer that gets something on his lens, he's got to be prepared for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
He's got to have extra batteries.
Yes, strapped up.
Yeah.
So diving back into your pro career, I want to round that out, and then I do want to dive into Paintball Nerd and kind of talk about that and push.
Sure.
Playing for the Ironmen, the roster that you played for, and we also have some amazing Discord questions. Shout out to PTG Nation. They're extremely excited that you're on the show. But playing for the Ironmen with that roster, what was that like? And what are some of the like memories that you hold dearest to your heart from the organization and playing with those players?
So it was really amazing for the first 2 tournaments. I was with Rich Telford and Andy Kopchak and Yosh and Billy Wing and Micah McLaughlin.
Damn.
And Arturo and Kevin Catfish and JP.
JP.
And it was
such a great squad.
Maddie.
Yep.
Like all the guys that I looked up to, I was playing with them, and it was amazing. And after World Cup, Rich took everyone and went to Excessive, and it was just me, Billy Wing, Catfish, and Art Dela Cruz left on the Ironman. And so I was working for Dye, so I was going to be on the Ironman. I wasn't going to go with Rich and those guys, because I had a coveted industry job. So the rebuilding phases of Ironman were rough, dude. Like there were a couple tournaments where we just like picked up a bunch of locals at SC Village and hoped for the best, because like it was quick. Like Rich and all those guys left and took the whole team. Like it was the whole team,
They got Brandon Short out of that.
We did get Brandon Short out of that.
The SC.
That was later, dude. Like we struggled for a couple tournaments, and then later on is when I was able to get Goat and Steven Pitts and Sean Pitts on the Ironman because I had they were playing for Miami Effect.
Yeah.
And I had a previous relationship with these guys because I played amateur with them and convinced them to come to the Ironman. And then we went to where we picked up B Short was at this guy named Dan's house. He had a paintball field on the side of his house, airball bunkers, and his parents let him play paintball there. So, and it was almost regulation size. And so we would go there and grind it out. And then there's this kid that I was watching, and he was balancing on one knee, popping out the bottom of the snake on one knee, like minimal profile, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And just like balancing on his knee and snapping out. And I'm like, watch this kid, like, look at like this drill that he's doing. Like he intends to do damage in that snake.
How old was he here?
And then this was 2003, I think. 20 years ago. So, wow, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah. He's high school.
Yeah. And then he was doing this running and gunning drill. And as he was running and shooting, I just heard the target go ding, 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 ding. Like he hit it every time. I'm like, oh, dude, like who is this? Where planet does this dude come from? And then at the end of the day, he's so fast. At the end of the day, they're doing foot races. There was a couple dudes that he would run, and then once he got beside them, he turned around and finished the race backwards and still won. He was putting on a clinic, bro. B Short was putting on a clinic. Like he was there to get on the Ironman. And like
you guys found a diamond in the rough. I mean,
yeah,
geez.
Well, he was a diamond at the jewelry store though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It was at a nice spot, and like,
yeah, true.
Like, he had all the resources to succeed. Like at that backyard, you could play paintball every day if you had the resources. You had the paintballs in the air. They had scuba tanks. So he was playing paintball every day, and he loved it and was serious about it and excelled very quickly. So that was awesome. And I felt like I had a team that I could really call my own and lead. And I felt like, this is a new Ironman. This is like these are all my boys. And shortly after, we got Oliver on the team, and that's when I started to see things like, whoa, this team's really being rebuilt. And Oliver was really transformed the team after the fallout.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy's a magician.
That's what he does. Yeah. So what was that like?
Well, I felt invincible. I felt like, oh, I'm playing with Oliver Lang and everyone's going to be shooting at him. And that made me more confident that I could go out there and do anything. And I don't know, man, just when your hand is in the huddle with that guy and it's like moving, it's like vibrating, and he's like saying things, he's speaking things into existence. It's like, yeah, this is our first practice, but dude, I'm eating up everything that you're saying. I'm all about it. It was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to be on the same team as Oliver. That's one of the highlights of my career, is being a teammate with him.
I think a lot of people would say that as well. Definitely one of the highlights of mine is being able to be close to Oliver throughout really my entire career. Even when we weren't on the same team, I was fortunate enough as a young kid, because of my kinman, to be able to practice against Dynasty and Oliver, almost every weekend. So to be able to learn from, and not just him, a lot of the other Dynasty guys as well, Alex, Ryan, Angel back then, such an OG, Johnny Perchak, Yosh, all those guys. Actually, I think, when did Yosh go back to Dynasty? I forget. I think he was on the Ironman at that time when I was.
Well, he went when everyone went to Excessive. Yosh went to Dynasty. So
okay, yeah, he was there. But it's it definitely transformative, to be around individuals like that can inspire you. Yeah,
but even before Oliver, like the Ironmen as a team were just a group of amazing dudes. Like the way that Maddie talks on the broadcast, like picture and imagine he's saying these things like in your huddle. He's like doing all this, like he's pumping you up, and he's articulating beautifully. like telling you these words before you were going to play paintball. Like I remember telling Maddie when I was on the team, like, I want to be able to pump people up the way that you do. Like, I want to be able to have the right words. And he's like, I see that for you. I see that for you. Like, so
he's the best.
Dude, yeah,
he's truly
he's
the best.
awesome. Rich was like an awesome team captain. The first taste of like strict leadership that I ever had in paintball.
Oh yeah.
First person that ever threatened to cut me. Well, not directly, but like
we physically too, not just metaphorically. He was like, he'll cut you.
He would just look at you, and the jaw would clench like this, and the nostrils, and you're like, dude, I'm done. Like,
yeah,
don't get me.
I love Rich so much. Shout out to Modesto. One time that was who really helped spearhead me was Rich Telford, and like you said, hard nosed, no excuses. You better come correct in the moment, or see you later. You know, he just had no bullshit at all.
Yeah, dive on this hard ground, do it point after point. Dude, I remember we were doing a drill, and the drill was so the shooters could learn how to shoot and the runners could learn how to dive and avoid the shot. And he had his like mirror bunkers, and you're supposed to pop out, shoot one or two balls, and then run into this guy that's basically laning into the spot and not get shot. And after you did that, you got back up and went back in line. So you're just running and diving into the spot.
This ground is brutal.
The ground is brutal, dude. Like, I had this raspberry on my elbow that just wouldn't heal. Like, it would scab up, and then the weekend would come. Like, I guess it's time to open that up again.
Yeah.
There's something real quick though. That's a really important drill. And you know, Tyler, I see you kind of laughing because it's, you know, you're just kind of running into, it seems like you're just running into someone's gun. But there is absolutely something to be said about your body movement when you're entering your bunker, and the way in which you slide to where you can actually avoid paint. I was talking to Dalton about it this last year. You know, we were talking about making spots and why some players can and some players can't, even when some players are slower than others. There's ways that you slide and like you can kind of see the paint, and that you have to arch your back just a little bit, and it's just enough for the paintball to like actually miss you, you know. And the shooter kind of sees like the front, you know, or the level that you're running at, and if at the very end you take a pretty significant dip as you're sliding into the spot, that can kind of trick, you know, where they're placing their paint. So there really is a tremendous amount of value in doing something like that, even though it might feel like shit. Now, the ground was terrible out there. That's, I think, the point to really drive home is the ground was not so nice.
Oh,
but that's an important drill. Like, often, you know, when teams or players think of those drills, they think that it's just for the shooters, but it's not. The runners are learning too. You're learning,
of course,
the ways in which you can safely get into your bunker. That's a super, super valuable skill.
Yeah, and you're also, especially at that field, you're learning to dive in a way that preserves your body. You have to, right? Like, you can't throw yourself at the ground. You have to put some finesse on that. So, you know, seriously, diving on that hard ground, if you didn't develop a way to just like be one with the ground and dive beautifully, you were going to impact the ground and you were going to get injured. So, I think that drill is wildly important.
Yeah, a lot of people left their limbs out at Extreme Paintball. They obviously have turf and they've groomed it and they do a tremendous job with it. But in the early days, it was it was the Wild West of paintball. And you know, you went to Extreme Paintball quite a bit. You know, in the wintertime, there was also no slack. It was like, it doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees, pouring rain, you're going to be out there and we're going to be playing paintball all day. You know, and you just have to have those different gears and that kind of grit and turn your brain off. That's one of the big things you got to learn how to do sometimes, is just turn your brain off and go, you know, and just get it done.
100%.
React.
So Zyzek, then you took a little bit of a hiatus from paintball for a while. Went and started some other business ventures, or you know, what
you guys
kind of went on. Yeah,
this is so important. I'm so happy that you asked me.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something about immaturity. Okay, immaturity will have you believing that you're not living the dream when you really are. It'll blind you from everything that you have, and it'll blind you from being thankful. So don't be immature. Here's my life lesson that I learned. I left paintball in 2006. I quit playing with the Ironmen. I was playing with all the guys that I wanted to play with. And I quit paintball out of my own free will to go sell mortgages, to go sell loans for houses so I could be a big boy and get a big boy job and live the American dream. I had it. I was already living it. I was living a lifestyle that people work their entire lives to obtain, and I was already living it, and I didn't know it. So what did I do? I threw away my dream. I put my dream aside so I could focus on this big boy job and make money. And I did make money. And what I found out was that I wasn't happy at all. You know, I'm a paintball nerd. Like, paintball is what I'm about.
Let's go, baby.
So, thankfully, in 2008, the mortgage industry collapsed. And I say that thankfully because I found paintball, not because of the people that it devastated. Of course. But in 2006, I left. 2008, the mortgage industry collapsed. The housing market collapsed.
Jeez.
I went back to paintball. And believe it or not, I was tempted yet again with adulting and having a big boy job with big paychecks and all that. So I worked in paintball until 2011, and I had moved out to Southeast Asia to live in Taiwan to help Dye with international sales. I had done that. I just got done doing that for a year. I was back in the States. I had a lucrative sales position at Dye. I wasn't playing paintball anymore, but I was still living the dream and, going to events and having a great time. And I was lured yet again by real estate. So I gave real estate a real go. Like I left paintball altogether for almost a decade. So from 2011 to 2001, I was just in real estate. That's all I did. And I didn't really talk to anyone in paintball. And it was 60-hour work weeks. It was not seeing, my family and my loved ones. It's being always too busy, and great paychecks that, I would spend on stupid things. When COVID came around, the real estate side, the part of the industry that I was in, which was in real estate investing education, started to slow down because it was a seminar-based business. You have to go to these events in person. COVID crushed that. And the income in that space shrunk. And that started to really make it clear to me that I'm not doing something that I enjoy. Like, the money's not coming in anymore. Why am I doing this? So thankfully, I still maintain relationships with everyone in paintball. Brian had started Push Paintball, and I told him that I wanted to be a part of it. And he gave me a career in paintball. He basically said, like, here you go. Like, here's some responsibility at Push. Here's a job. Here's income. And like that, I was right back in it. I was right back in paintball.
Man, thank God for Brian Benini. He's amazing.
Thank God for Brian Benini, dude. Like, he made it happen. Like,
yeah, he's the man.
Like,
and he's been the man,
dude. He's made stuff for paintball that changed paintball.
Yeah.
Not just equipment, right, for Dye, but like,
people don't know this. This is probably the
don't.
first time they've ever even heard Brian Benini's name. He's fundamental to the game.
Brian Benini, he made the documentaries Push and Sunday Drivers, which are like staples for, like, if you're in paintball and you aspire to reach the top, like, those were staples. Like, you watched them.
That was me
and
all day.
They changed your perception of the game and what was possible.
Yep.
But not only that, man, like, he designed products that changed the game as well. Like, he developed the elbow pads that didn't have a space in right here, so your the bottom of your elbow wouldn't fit in that little space and scrape. He made one that went, a good elbow pad. Goggles, pants, jerseys. Like he designed amazing things for Dye.
Yeah.
So that's why I say earlier, like, I feel like I was always in the right place at the right time, surrounding myself with the right people. Like, I don't take credit. I really give credit to my sphere of influence, because the people that put me on, dude, like, you know, I guess I had friends in the right places that made things happen for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and building good relationships all the throughout your paintball career has come full circle, you know, and having you there at Push and doing such tremendous work with the company. And you guys also, I think, isn't Chris involved as well? Lasoya, he's in the house.
Oh yeah,
I see him.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
and
does sales and sponsorship. Yep,
he's crushing it as always. We love Chris, but it's all about building good relationships and making sure that you nurture your time in the industry and don't be out there causing a ruckus, burning bridges, because you don't know what doors you're shutting for your future.
exactly.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could be in the right place and right time and not be prepared for that moment too, right? So it's not
Yeah,
just luck.
certainly.
I appreciate the modesty, but exactly like Tyler's saying, it's the relationships that you built, how you nurtured them, the type of friend, type of human you were, what you brought to the table as an individual. That allowed being in the right place at the right time to give you the opportunity that you're in now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
What is it?
I just like to give credit, you know, to the people that put me on. Like, you know, first person that interviewed for Paintball Nerd was Scott Kemp, and then Rainey, and then Saransky, and then E-Rob, and then Brandon Cornell, and then Billy Wing, in that order. Like, these people put me on the scene. Like, I don't know if I would have got other interviews if those guys didn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have for sure done one.
Thank you.
Again,
And we're in the house all day.
Zyzek was one of the first people that I looked up to in paintball. Early days at, you know, Velocity, one of the cool pros out there on the Ironmen, the team that I wanted to play for. So, yeah, dude, I'll always support what
Marcelo.
you're doing. Sorry. Yes.
Can we talk about the trifecta divergence that's occurring right here on Play the Game podcast? Can I talk about this for a second? Let me tell you something that may just blow all of our minds, because would you both agree that every decision and action that you've taken up until this point right now, this moment, has led us to this point? Would you say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would agree with you both. Now, take a look at this. Marcelo, an impactful moment in your young paintball career is when you beat me in a one-on-one at Velocity Paintball. Is that true?
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I was like 12,
Tyler.
13 years old. I was blown away.
Tyler,
Yep.
first time you ever won a pro event, who did you beat in a one-on-one?
You in Denver.
Both of you guys
Yeah.
beat me in a one-on-one. You're on a show together, and now we're all three talking. What is this? What is this? Like, what is happening?
Dude,
Basically,
You're-
so I would make the argument that one-on-one for Tyler, I mean, I won't speak for you, but I know if I was in that situation to win a one-on-one like that, to win the tournament, your confidence is through the roof. As a young kid, you
Yes.
now believe in yourself in one-on-ones. When I was
Yeah.
12 or 13 and I had beat you, I was like a D3, not even a D3 player, you know, and it was just 1 point in practice. To me, I was like, oh my God, I could be really good at this. I just beat Zyzek. Like, whether it was luck, it didn't matter. All that mattered is that it happened, and it gave me so
You're
much
welcome.
confidence.
dude,
I'm
I'm
boost.
the catalyst. I'm the catalyst to your guys' success.
Boosting.
Dude, we would not be here without you, Zyzek.
Let's go,
Love it.
Zyzek. Hell yeah. Yeah, man.
I sacrificed for your guys' careers, man.
Damn, dude. That Denver tournament was crazy too. The crowd was going insane. There was so many people around that field in that moment, and it's funny. Rich Telford was the announcer for that game as
I
well.
know.
So
Awful.
I know he had seen both of us because he had nurtured both of our games from very early on. So like for him to be like the godfather commentating it too is insane.
Dude,
And
it's
like
on
you
YouTube.
said-
You can watch it. He goes, that's big for Tyler. That's big for Tyler. And he's boosting.
Oh, he
Like, it's
said,
all-
I bet he's like, hopefully his goggles fit on his head or something, you know? And I was like, oh, Rich, come on.
Dude, we can pull it up. It's on the internet somewhere for sure.
Yep.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I think if you actually search Tyler Harmon, it's on one of those videos. There's like a bit that Trauma Head did, and it's a part of that Trauma Head video where I'm like 16 years old, just saying nonsense, go play people who are better than you, and run and gun and doing all these things. But it really is true. If you care about it, you got to care about all the details, and then you do it enough times, and you'll get really good at no matter what it is you do.
If you love it.
If
Oh
you
my
love
gosh, you guys, I totally forgot. At the
Talk to
heart
us.
of the bar system, okay? At the heart of it, you have to love what it is that you're doing. You know why? Because along these, like from belief to action, along the way, there's lots of trial and tribulation, right? There's lots of challenges. You might not have the right technique down in your action. You might miss someone when you shoot off the break. There's going to be challenges. You might have mixed results at first, right? Challenges and tribulations. So that's why you have to love at the center of the bar system, because any rational person going through these trials and tribulations, they're going to quit.
Yeah.
But someone who loves it, they're going to continue on the bar system. So yeah, at the heart of the bar system, you got to love what you're doing.
So true.
Paintball.
Put the heart in it.
Put the heart in it.
And that is such a key point to life. You got to have heart. You got to have passion. If no matter what it is you're going to do, if you're going to do it, freaking do it. Don't just half-ass it. Have that belief, get the action going, get the results, fall in love with it, and repeat and keep having fun with that process.
Amen.
Yeah.
Preach it.
Zyzek, what's your role with Push?
So what I do on a day-to-day basis is sales calls, customer service. I answer all the emails. When I was in San Diego, I was doing more, obviously stuff that you do in a warehouse. So packing orders and organizing the warehouse. But I'd say, when I was brought on to Push, my role was general manager. And I don't so much identify with that position here in Tennessee. Although I do manage things and make lots of spreadsheets and all that stuff. But I'd say like the main part of my role is sales and customer service.
Got it.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
So now that you're on the East Coast, tons of 10-man paintball for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I played the ICPL, this past ICPL in Tampa with Aftershock. I'm playing the one in Tennessee with Cap. And then I got a baby coming in July, so I'm gonna take a little break probably from paintball. But
dude, congrats!
I'll be back in it. Thanks, man.
But not Paintball Nerd, right?
What?
Are you gonna take a break from that too?
Oh no,
Okay,
tripping.
Cool.
Yeah, just from traveling.
Perfect.
Yeah, just from traveling.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I like Paintball Nerd. I would like to see that. I'd like to see what I would intend. What I'm saying I'm going to do with Paintball Nerd is put myself in a position where I have a greater audience and can create content at events.
Awesome.
And then from there, the intention is for the YouTube channel to grow, the Instagram followers to increase, and hopefully that impacts traffic to my website where people can buy forces and virtue stuff and push stuff and HK stuff. So that's the plan.
Dude, I absolutely love that. What's the website?
Paintballnerd.com.
Awesome. Easy enough. Everybody head over to paintballnerd.com. Check it out.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Yeah. And congrats on the win down there in Florida.
Well, thank you. I will also divert that and say that I just stood on the shoulders of giants there at that tournament. Those guys, all I did was stay alive. So
that's half the battle.
That is half the battle. That is a very important part of the battle. Oh man, cannot express that enough.
10-man is so fun. I think you guys would like it.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah,
it is the best.
Man, it's badass.
I actually won a tournament with Cap out in Cali for the Sacramento event. I think it was last season when they took the whole title. So I had a little bit of help in getting the Cap Factory title for last season in the 10-man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good times out
Dude,
there.
I love that. I just love that 10-man is a thing and who it's bringing back out into the sport,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all forms of paintball. And 10-man definitely is it's the roots. That's amazing thing about our game is paintball can be played in so many different ways. It's kind of like snowboarding. You could do all the tricks, half pipes, rails, all that stuff, or you could just be a cruiser,
Yeah.
There's different types of snowboarding, skiing, surfing. racing even, there's drifting, there's drag racing, there's, all sorts of stuff. So I love that in paintball, we have all sorts of different types of games that you can play that can appeal to a larger audience. So, it's something very unique about our game. And I love that we have started to highlight 10-man and hyperball, woods ball again, because I think it's just, a great part of our sport.
I agree. But I also think, well, I say what I would add is that if you look at the viewership of X-Ball, like the NXL, it like doesn't even come close. Like it blows 10-man out of the water. So like, although I'm experiencing one thing and saying this is the best, I love it, like the numbers don't lie. People, the viewers like X-Ball.
Yeah, but those are the hardcore viewers. What about viewers that have never seen paintball? Maybe they just haven't fallen into that yet, but they might like the woods ball kind of thing that, maybe mimics a little bit more of that military type thing. I'm not totally sure. We haven't broken into the non-paintball player viewer base yet, whether that's because it's behind a paywall or not, different conversation. But to add to that, the biggest thing for me about the 10-man side of things is a little less the viewership and more the participation, because there's multiple ways to bring money into the sport. Viewership is a big part of it. If you get viewers, then you can get sponsors, yada, yada, yada. Everybody understands that. And then participation as a whole brings in money for the companies and for fields. And that also can bring in more just money to the sport. That could eventually allow us to host bigger tournaments or, have bigger prize packages, whatever it might be. So I think it fuels the participation side for sure. And that's an important part of it. And it can get players hooked onto paintball, and then they advance to airball like we did, advance to X-ball like we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it does start. You were talking a little bit earlier about like how it starts at the field, like make sure the facilities are nice. Mm-hmm. And, I believe as an industry, we could do certain things like masterminds where all the industry leaders meet, and people who are not industry leaders, who are just starting their paintball field or their paintball store, can join in on these masterminds and listen and even give their 2 cents. But if there was an open dialogue in which the most successful fields could speak to the fields that maybe aren't doing so successful and educate them on, hey, our referees are also salespeople. And when our referees go out and they bring a group of walk-ons, they're reinforcing the sale that person made a good decision to play paintball that weekend. And the way that they do that is X, Y, and Z. And the experience they create is X, Y, and Z. And the way that they help the players is X, Y, and Z. And I think if paintball just as a whole worked together to have that communication, down the line, paintball would be a better experience for the first-time player. And I think that's how the sport grows.
Absolutely. Yeah, Zyzek, that's a great point right there. I could not agree more. When you're getting these players that are there for their first time, you want to give them a great experience, because that might be the only time you ever have to capture their attention into paintball. And
it is.
Yeah, totally. So you gotta treat that right. And actually that leads into a perfect question from the Discord. So maybe this is the one thing, but Steve from SoCal Blaze, he says, I would like to know, you've been around for a long time and have witnessed so many changes in paintball and the industry. If you could tell us your favorite change and your most disliked change, it would be appreciated.
My favorite change and my most dislike change. That's certainly a tough one. I don't pretend to be an expert in paintball. I'm a paintball nerd. So all I can speak to is, through the lens of my experience in paintball over the past, 20 plus years. And through that lens, I would say that paintball is a game. And if we want to appeal to a wider demographic of people, we need to focus on the fact that it is a game, and it's a fun game. And I think the reason that that's important is because if you play paintball at the highest level, like if paintball at the highest level is closely associated to the game that people get addicted to, that's when the sport can ultimately grow. So, from if you look at the family that, let's say, is going to go to Family Fun Center, or they're deciding if they should do that or if they should play paintball, what version of paintball do we have the highest chances of hooking these people? Is it capture the flag style game, or is it an X-ball style game? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I think asking that question is a start. And once we recognize how we can capture a wider audience, then we can start to cater paintball and paintball media towards that wider audience. I believe that the 10-man format did cater to that audience. It made pro paintball accessible to the average person. It is less so now. It is more so a sport that you need to condition for, which has definite positives to it. But in doing so, you also eliminate certain players from accessing said game or said sport. So again, I don't have the answers, but if we can appeal to a larger audience, the sport may grow. And I think it's very basic things to focus on as far as how to appeal to that larger audience.
Yeah, and another thing we have on our side is the algorithm. Like, it doesn't matter if you go and play walk-on or rec ball or whatever facet of paintball, as soon as we get them into the algorithm and they start searching paintball, it's going to automatically start showing them tournament paintball now, which is amazing, because the phones are very smart. They're smartphones. They're very aware of what you're looking to see. So it's amazing that we have that technology in our pocket at this moment to where the algorithm will kind of play that for us. And I kind of briefly brushed upon it on the episode that we did together, but I think that also creating the pro brackets to where it's not the same as all the divisions, and the pro level starts to play a more, refined game, let's say. We're doing things that maybe aren't done throughout all the divisions, and maybe we make these micro changes to the way that the pro format is played. And the jump that you have to make when you go out of the divisions into the pro is learning how the pros play this particular style. And our particular style might not be for everyone, and we don't want it to be for the division or because it's what we're taking this thing to the pinnacle. We're going to make paintball the greatest product imaginable for mass consumption. And that might not be for 99% of the players. But if you want to step into the 1% and be a part of the pro experience, then we play at this kind of a pace, with this kind of a style, with this different nuances on the game that's played. And maybe we make little changes to the way that we do things. I don't know what that looks like, but I think that would be highly advantageous as we move into the future for the pro ranks in particular.
I mean, I think that's certainly the question, is like, is it the best thing to make pro paintball this different type of style that you have to work your way up to? Or should pro paintball be something that you can be reminded of the way that you started, and it's very similar to that game? I don't know the answer to that question, because I both love and hate the fact that paintball switched to X-ball. I love it and I hate it.
I know. I can feel it.
When I go snowboarding, my very first time, I wasn't going down double black diamonds. So I don't think that it needs to be the same, played the same. I feel like, at the highest level, you want stuff that is intimidating, scary, not for the general public. You want that separation because you can highlight excellence and dedication. And, people are attracted to that extreme, but it is still the same game. You're trying to
basketball, tennis, football. It's all the same game, whether you're starting off or playing pro,
Those are different though.
They are, because then it's about who you're playing against. I would never step on a football field with an NFL athlete in pads. I'm just not that. I'm not that athlete. I'm not going to go play basketball with 9 other NBA players. It would be zero fun. But I will go to LA Fitness.
But if you want to, if that's your dream, Marcel, if you want to play in the NBA and you start off as a young child playing basketball, the game is going to be very similar to when you make it to the pro.
Similar, but it changes. The size
it gets more difficult.
Exactly, it gets more difficult.
The
right?
height of the hoop, yeah, you're right.
You know, the 3-point line is further out as you go from high school to college to NBA. A lot of stuff changes. There's more time on the clock. So even in basketball, even in football, these things do change.
Yeah.
And in paintball, it's, you know, maybe it seems a little more extreme, and maybe it is. I always hear we should try to do what these other leagues and sports have done. I don't always agree with that either. I actually think that there's so much unique variability with our sport that's something that maybe we should highlight. Maybe that's an actual attribute that we're trying to limit. You know, I'm not an expert in this either. It's just my opinion on it. You know, it's how I feel about our game. I feel that our game is very unique, that there's so many ways that it can be played. And I would, in my opinion, I think it's better to promote that. I think that's like, from an outside viewer, they would maybe be, you know, inclined to say, wow, that's so interesting, this sport, because there's so many facets of it. How cool. You know, again, just my opinion on it, but I would prefer to highlight all of these, you know, changes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it, because you could also say, like, you know, do we want someone to come across it and be like, whoa, that's different and unique, and I want to work my way up to that point? Or do we want them to say, like, yo, this is attainable?
Well, the cool thing about paintball is we have so many, like, we have the attainable stuff and we have the far off kind of stuff. And it's just, I guess,
that's
reminiscent.
True. We have it all, really.
We really do. We really do right now. And if we can just continue on our path, because we're doing such a good job. People really care about paintball. We all care about paintball. And I'm sure everybody that this is hitting out of the speakers of wherever it's coming from, all feel the same way when I say we need paintball to have a little more respect on the name. It just has none. People still think we're in the woods. You ask, you know, the general public about paintball, they don't know we exist. And that is mind-boggling to me, because it's such an amazing sport and game in so many different ways. And there are so many different gifts of the game, as Matty Marshall would say, you know, that you get from this sport and game, that I just feel like I know all of us here and tons of people listening will never stop being an advocate for this sport until we can get some damn respect on it.
Well, it's how it's portrayed in the media is just awful. Like, it's just like, you know, it's this nerdy thing that's not as cool as airsoft because the guns don't look as real. And it's like, it's difficult to explain. Like, have you ever shot a paintball out of something and then watch it like explode on an opponent's goggles? Like, how do I explain that is an awesome thing to experience?
Or have you been hit by one over and over from close range? It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, and it is kind of painful sometimes. And so, no, it's not just like a child's game. Actually, you got to have a lot of cojones to play this game. And that's, again, big shout out to all the ladies, you know, balling that will, you know, get out there and you know, run with the best of us. It's a game where it's intimidating. You know, my first time playing, I was a kid, but I wore like 4 shirts, a hoodie, sweatpants with jeans over them. You know, I was like layered up. You were scared to go play. I wasn't scared to go play basketball. You know, I wasn't intimidated to go play basketball. I was intimidated even to snowboard for my first time on the bunny slope. You know what I mean? And so that's alluring, but I guess that's why they're called extreme sports, you know, and I do put paintball in that category of an extreme sport.
Shout out to the WNXL, because that is exposing a demographic that we haven't really been tapping into. Like, we should absolutely be doing more women's stuff for paintball and getting women involved in paintball. It's like 50% of the human population basically is women. Like, we should be appealing to that market. So I think what the WNXL is doing, and the Heroines organization and Destiny organization and Northern Lights and all these women's teams, Vibe, like, it's so important for the sport. I think that's where we're going to get the next burst of growth.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that statement. We have just completely been missing out on, like you said, half of the population, just about, that this sport is so perfect for. It's not like a
Yeah.
traditional sport where, you know, size and speed and all these things, they do matter at a certain level, but I mean, anybody can play paintball. And that is what makes this sport so truly amazing, and that is why it will continue into the future and be a something that is going to be played by millions and millions of people, because it is so much fun. And for me personally, I know we talked about you got to have, you know, it's intimidating, you got to have some wherewithal when you get out there and be ready for that particular game that you're going to play. But for me, the physics aspect of it, the science and the math really are what captivate me truly the most in paintball. Is the angles, the pressure, the geometry, the lob, the communication, the details, like all of those intricate details are really what keeps me coming back, because it's this crazy game that is so difficult to master. And even when you feel like you're getting right there next to it, it shows you a whole new face and you got to relearn it again and again and again. And it just never stops. So, you know, it has so many compelling aspects to it that outside of the physicality and the raw paintball, you know, like that kind of aspect is the wherewithal to crunch numbers and really dive into that aspect of it, for me, is what captivated me the most.
Yeah, it's high speed chess for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
100%. Zyzek Fab wants to know, what are your thoughts about bringing back sideline coaching? Would the sport benefit from a crowd that could actively cheer and get more into the game?
No, I don't. I think that should just stay gone. You know, part of the amazing part of paintball is outsmarting your opponent. And if you outsmart your opponent and someone just says, "Hey, he's outsmarting you," where's the fun in that?
How do you grow then? Because I agree with you. It's super lame when there's like legitimate sideline coaching, but fan interaction's an important thing. And how the hell would you ever be able to control a stadium of 20,000 people, 30,000?
You don't need to. You don't need to, because all the coaching would be drowned out.
Exactly.
So many people would be cheering. It just it wouldn't matter. But paintball's not there yet.
Right.
You know, so until we get there where we're packing stadiums and all you hear is crowd noise, you know, then allow all the sideline coaching you want. No one's going to be able to hear you. They're just going to hear roaring, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like actual sideline coaching, I think it eliminates one of the most alluring parts of the game.
Totally.
I don't know. If my dad's in the crowd and that man yells out like, "Yo, T, he's coming down the wire," and he's close enough, I'm listening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there'll still be elements of that, but if we're really talking about 20,000 people,
good luck. It's loud.
Yeah.
It's loud in there. All right, my question from PTG World, from Kalen Inspired Paintball. Zyzek, I'm a big fan of Paintball Nerd. Who has been your favorite guest to talk to on the show? What inspired you to do some animation as well?
Oh, wow. You saw it, huh? So my favorite guests, Marcelo, Tyler, got to be the top ones there. I really enjoyed speaking with Rocky. I just like speaking with him in general.
Yes.
Like getting him on the mic and like the raspy voice and like it's just like, you know, he's super animated.
He's rock dog.
He was an enjoyable one. Billy Wing has been a mentor for me, like pretty much my entire adult life. So having him on the show was amazing. So, I mean, had Oliver and Ryan and Alex. Yosh was great, dude. Yosh is just he speaks beautifully. He speaks with intention, and you know, I really enjoyed speaking with Yosh. As far as what inspired me to do the cartoon, I wanted to poke at topics without my persona behind it. So I wanted to say some things that I didn't want to face the consequences for. So I figured if I did it in a cartoon, no one could say, you know, why are you saying these things? So I did it in cartoon format, and you know, said some things that I felt.
Yeah.
Can we expect more cartoons?
I don't know. They're actually quite a bit of effort. Yes, you can. But it's like, yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to. I'd like to get professional with it. Like, you're always looking at ways to better things. So I'm using this like website that basically you have a series of pictures and you can put text bubbles in them, and I just voice over the text bubbles. But they really don't make sense. It's a bar scene. You got a paintball guy there, a couple guys behind the bar. You got an old man here. None of them look like paintball players, but we're talking about paintball. So I may continue to do cartoons, but I don't know if I'm going to do them in the same fashion that I've been doing them, because it really doesn't make sense.
I think they're great, dude. I really do. All right. Cool. Clint Riddle, Zyzek, what are your top 3 non-paintball podcasts?
I like Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand. I like
top 3. Nope, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
Boom. Is that your top 3, or would you put another one over one of those?
No, that's it.
That's a big 3 right there. I like those.
How's Russell's? It's a good show.
Yeah.
He gets political, and he clearly has he sits in the middle, but he'll poke the bear for sure, and I like that.
There we go. All right, we got.
Are you guys is this live right now? Are you guys reading questions that people are watching this live?
We have a crazy Discord that is so awesome. It's PTG Nation. If you're interested, message us on Instagram and we can help you get into this chat room, because it's a great way to connect with the guests. So we let them know that you're coming on the show, and then everybody in the Discord can sound off with some questions, and we highlight your questions live on the show with the guests. So if that sounds like something cool, you can become a part of the PTG Nation, and we can get your questions live on the air to ask the guests. It's a really fun time. Yeah.
So they know that this is happening, although they're going to reap the rewards later on when this is broadcasted.
Correct.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
And the community is second to none, man. They're outstanding.
Yeah.
So we got Brandon, Bem Raps. What content do you think might not be 100% paintball related, but could help bridge fresh eyes to the game?
Not paintball related, but bring fresh eyes to the game. There's no such product exists, unless we're talking about Gel Strike. But I think that's paintball related. But if we're saying that's not paintball related, then it's certainly Gel Strike. Gel Strike is the thing that I wish I had when I was a kid. When paintball was inaccessible to me because the gear was too expensive, and I wasn't old enough or whatever. Having a Gel Strike where I could like throw on some like shop glasses and go out there and play. I mean, that would have been a dream come true, because I bought a rubber band gun and would make my dad play rubber band gun war with me.
Yeah. So
I think Nerf could be another way to get there. Anytime that you're playing guns, like any type of that content, gel ball, Nerf, stuff like that, I think are good segues to paintball, but not airsoft. Now, airsoft is actually going backwards, and I'll tell you why. Because before I played paintball, I played BB gun wars in my backyard with my neighbor, and the rule was you couldn't aim for the face.
Oof.
And one pump only on the BB gun. So airsoft is just that, right? It's a less cool version of paintball because you don't have the visceral explosion of paint. So yeah, not airsoft.
Dude, you started a war.
He started a war. Airsoft is making a run right now. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it must be fun to play, right? It certainly looks fun. But if you try and make it super hyper competitive where money's on the line,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's refs in paintball for a reason.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, without them, we have no integrity for the game. They uphold all of that. And then also the video games, I feel like could be another non-paintball bridge somehow, getting active users transferring over from that. But, you would also have to have paintball players that infiltrate and kind of get those threads sewn inside of the video game realms, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, Marcelo does that with Snapshot VR.
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
And that's paintball related.
It's paintball related. Yeah. The question is just a little contradictory to itself. But I understand where he was going with that, and it is a good question. I agree. Video games, you know, I guess what you could do is, paintball fields could promote a Call of Duty style big game. That would be non-paintball related with a video game. I mean, it becomes paintball related. Yeah, that question's confusing, but we see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
I tried my best.
Video games are huge. And in the VR snapshot VR game, it's cool because there's players in there that have never played paintball. They either come from Airsoft, and there's even other kids that are like, hey, I just, found this and started playing, and it's fun, and never played paintball. So yeah. All right. I think my last question from the Discord, Osborne for this. Zyzek, if you could host an annual one-off event, what format would it be and what would it look like?
I would do 10-man mechanical, double triggers allowed, and open roster. So you could have as many pros as you want. And I would find a way to put $100,000 on the line. That way there's like really tension involved with the finals. Like there's something that you're going to like, because second place is nothing. You got to win it all. That's what I would do.
Wow.
That'd be interesting to watch.
Wild.
Yeah, absolutely. It would.
No 7-man. No 7-man. I would have thought that would be everyone's one-off event. That's my choice. I would love a 7-man.
It could be 7 or 10. Yeah, I'm not picky. It's almost the same thing for me. Like, yeah, like if it's gonna be big airball fields, you know what? Let's just say it's 7-man. I'll go with your idea, Marcelo. 7-man, right. And then everything else I said.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're right. Having someone's life change legitimately at the end of the event would be a spectacle, because that's what happens essentially. If you can create life-changing circumstances after each event, you're also going to see paintball take off in a crazy way, because mom's going to be like, hold on, what's going on? You got to impress the parents. The parents have to say, okay, I co-sign.
What if it was $1 million?
Whew,
what if at the end of what if you won World Cup, you won $1 million? How much more interesting would it be to watch?
So much more interesting.
You're immediately on the radar for sure.
Even people that don't watch or even care about paintball, these people are shooting at each other for $1 million. Like the winner's going to take home $1 million. Like you're going to watch that. Like
it's like poker, right?
Yeah, exactly. High stakes gets views.
It's wild. All right, I got my last one is from Mad Skater, and he's wondering, I've been wondering this too. Can we ask Zyzek about this crazy lineup? He has joined as Los Angeles Ironmen along with the likes of Billy Wing, Nikki Cuba, and MF and Ollie Lang. I see them registered for the Sunshine State Major. Awesome lineup. Just wanted to know if it's true, and if so, what is he feeling? Got to be awesome being back on such an awesome lineup.
Well, so clearly this is 100% true, going to happen roster. All the other rosters announced by the Ironman and news outlets are bogus. The one that you see on pbleagues.com is the true roster for the Florida event. So I'm just looking to just tearing you guys apart, dude. I'm just gonna I'm gonna take some ibuprofen, put on a Tiger Bomb, icy hot, and mess you guys up.
Dude, big action. We got big action. It sounds like it's not happening, brother. Just so that you know, Mad Skater. But he did say, much love to everyone here and to the PTG family, the PTG community. We're so grateful for this community and for the community that you've built with Paintball Nerd. We can't wait to watch that continue to flourish, because it's really a spectacular project that you've built, and the consistency with which you're doing it and the intention with which you want to push it into, the future coming up by being at tournaments and having all that come to life. We can't wait to see that happen. And we're just grateful that we have such an amazing paintball world. And thanks to everyone who asked these questions.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Zyzek, you're the man, brother. Thank you so much. And yeah, like Tyler said, keep crushing with Paintball Nerd. We'll have to get back on pretty soon. Season's about to start. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff to talk about this year. So,
yes.
Cool.
Soon.
Where
Thanks,
can
guys.
they make sure that they follow all your socials for like YouTube, IG? It's all Paintball Nerd. Is that right?
It's all Paintball Nerd. Yep. Look for the little Paintball Nerd icon and follow, subscribe, like, push all the buttons, do all the things.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Let's go.
Awesome.
For everybody who doesn't know, a nerd is a person who is extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable about a particular subject, especially one of a specialist or niche interest. So we'll leave you with
Guilty.
I love it. By the way, Zyzek, I did message you on IG. I need you to send over the Paintball Nerd logo and like a little profile pic for me to use in the thumbnail.
that. Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Happy birthday to Luke. Told him I'd shout him out. Boom, I did
Happy
it.
birthday, Luke.
Happy birthday, Luke.
Let's go.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Have
Till
a
next
good night.
time. Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the Patreon link and become a supporter. If you support at any level, you will get access to the Discord, but you want to be a GOAT. If you are a GOAT, you get access to extra chat rooms in the Discord and a once-a-month meeting with Tyler and myself where we talk about all sorts of amazing behind-the-scenes things, and we do a ton of really cool giveaways. Our website is brought to you by Rusty Glaze at Constant Pursuit. If you need a website for anything, Rusty is your guy. All right, everybody. As always, thank you so much, and we will see you very soon.